Hi everyone, my name is Jen and welcome to the Book Review. Hi everybody, welcome to another recommendations video. Today we're doing a sports romance recommendation video. I will actually have a couple of sports ones coming up. Sorry. I just happen to be in the mood to do some of those. I've read quite a few sports romances at the beginning of this year. It just kind of worked out that way. They've mostly been hockey and football. And so, yes, those are going to be the ones that we're getting. But I am going to put together a video as well that is like unique sports and put them all into one kind of, because I thought that would be cool. But some of these, this is going to range from a lot. It's going to be some of the classic hockey romances all the way up to some current series that I'm reading. I just wanted to kind of put them all together. Like, I'm pretty positive I've made a hockey romance one before, but I was just in the mood, and particularly because I was lucky enough to get a physical copy of the next L. Kennedy, the Dixon Rule, and I'm just in the mood for a hockey romance, so we're going to go for it. So we're going to start off with the classic ladies here. We have books by L. Kennedy and Serena Bowen, right? So we start with the Him and Us duet, which it also has a novella at the end that's called Epic, I think. So there's that. But this one is about Wes and Jamie. I'm actually going to be rereading this because one of my patrons wants it annotated. But this is about these two that they were friends when they were young. And then they had this night where they actually fooled around together. And one of the heroes, you know, he didn't take this too seriously. It was fun. And the other one is completely changed by it and realizes that he's gay and that he only wants men. And he's very embarrassed that he first did this to his friend, and he feels like maybe he forced his friend into it, which is not how his friend feels at all. But it ends up leading to them not speaking to each other for a few years until they end up both being like counselors slash mentors at a hockey camp, the same camp that they used to go to when they were young, and they end up being put together as roomies. And so this really is putting a pressure cooker on this like awkwardness they had going on. And yeah, it's gonna spice things up for sure. So there's that. Then we kind of lead into there's two different series then that come from them. There is also the spin-off series from Him and Us, which I didn't grab those ones. But we have the Serena Bowen ones that there's her Brooklyn Bruisers books. Those ones are about that team and they go off into that. But then there's also some L. Kennedy series. We have the this one just went on my head. The Off-Campus series, which starts with The Deal, which I did finally get myself a copy of the blue ones here. I got this at a, there weren't any of the blue ones left at my Barnes & Noble, but there is a small bookstore in my town and they happen to have these. And I was like, damn, I want some more books I want these. So I was able to find this one. And I found books 3 and 4, so I will still need book 2. But anyway, we got it. It's here. But this one, I just reread this recently too. This is about Garrett and Hannah. And Hannah, she has been assaulted in her high school years. She was date raped. And so she's very much struggled with intimacy and orgasms with a partner since then. And then we have Garrett, who is a hockey player and needs help passing a class so that he can stay on the hockey team. And she doesn't have time to help him with this, but he's like, hey, if you help me with this, I will help you get the man that you want, because she's actually interested in a football player. So she's like, I don't know how you're going to do that, but let's do it. So it ends up being kind of like a fake dating thing, because he's like, if you're dating me, other people will notice you. And she's like, whatever. But that's exactly what happens. And so she ends up fake dating him. And then also he starts helping her with her orgasms and things go from there. Okay. So yeah, that leads into a whole series. And then there's a spin-off series from there as well. There's Briar U as well. But then there's the second generation series, which starts with the Graham Effect, and then the Dixon Rule is going to be next. But the Graham Effect, this is about Gigi Graham, who is Hannah and Garrett's daughter. And this is a chunker, I know, but it really is kind of introducing us to the lay of the land as them being you know, adults in their own series now. And we get to see that like Garrett is a coach, and we see all these cool things. I really like it. So yeah, I love Gigi, and Ryder. They also end up in kind of this friends with benefits. They're from like the rival schools that are forced to have a hockey team together. She's in the female hockey team and he's on the male hockey team, and her father is like his coach. And so he wants to get in the good graces of him. And she's like, well, I can help you do that if you help tutor me to get better at, like, coach me at what will help me get noticed for the women's team. And so that's what happens. Then they end up being friends with benefits. So you can see there's some symbolism, but they still felt very much themselves. And I also loved seeing Garrett and Hannah as parents, okay, right? Of course, Garrett is very protective of her. Of course, he's going to be that way. And there's some parts where he's very stubborn about some things. Hannah was an absolute gem in this. Like, I could have worked myself up into tears. I have my period today. I know people use that excuse, but it's true. I'm an emotional woman anyway. I could talk myself into tears because Ryder, he has not had the family love that he deserves or needs. There's a lot of stuff in his past that happened. And so when he is getting close with Gigi, he gets brought to like a family holiday together, and Hannah is just this really like warm mother figure to him, you know? And it's just really cute because he's getting all this shit from Garrett and like, you're interested in my daughter and you're one of my men on my team, and he's just not about it. But Hannah's just so like, he will respect you if you push through, and like, I see you're a good kid. And Hannah's so great. I just love that. And it's also great because when you read the deal and you know like what a shitty dad Garrett had, right? His dad was awful. You know, he is a good role model, and he can really be there for Ryder too once he gets over himself. And so anyway, I just loved seeing Ryder get that he needed, you know, because Garrett and Hannah, like, they are great parents. So anyway, sorry, I went off a sidetrack. The romance in this one is great too. Like, it really, really is. Those are just the sprinkles on top that if you have read, you know, all the books by her, like if you've started with The Deal and you've read those way back when and you read through, I think that it is so like rewarding to see that, and yet still she did a really good job making Gigi and Ryder feel new. So I cannot wait to dive in to the Dixon rule and just see where that goes. So then we have the Hockey Gods series, which I won't go into each individual one of these just because it will take a while, but I have slowly been collecting the the flower editions of these, which I actually really like, because the man covers are just kind of there, you know. But I can't remember fully what order these ones are in because it's been a hot minute for me. But I really have been enjoying these. So I think there's 5 books out right now. Yeah, I'm missing 2 of them. I have not read Twisted Up Sessions, but I want to. But I've read books 1, 3, and 4, or 1... No, I have read 1, 2, and 3. I just didn't read them in the right order. That's what happened. I read book 3, which was Secret Obsession. This one is a brother's ex-girlfriend, although it has a funny twist because the younger brother actually wanted the heroine first, but his brother started dating her based on a bet. And now that bet has ended. She's broken up with the brother and is very sad about it. And now it's time for Miles to make his move. And he is not going to take his time or go slow. He's going to go all for it. So yeah, this was book 3. Then I read book 1. And then I read, I think this one's book 2. This one's 1. See, like I said, I don't know what order these are all in because it's been a while. But yeah, so this one was great. This one is a ballerina who ended up getting really like hurt in a drunk accident that the hero caused. And so it's been a real struggle for her to get back to her like dancing shape. And really it was his fault. And then she shows up at this same school that he's going to, and he just hates her because he blames her for stuff that he's had to deal with because he was a drunk driver. Like, it's just fascinating how this one played out. I'm not saying these guys are that well behaved, okay? This is a very dark romance series. There's murder in these, there's assault, but there's also lots of kinky fun times in these too. So, you know, it's a give and a take with them. But yeah, these are ones that I've really been enjoying them, so I have been collecting them, and I still have 2 of them to read. I have books 4 and 5 to still read. I don't know when I'll get to them. I'll probably end up getting the audiobooks for these, and that will help me be able to get to them. Okay, then there is 2 that I actually read like arcs of those ones. So there is Flurry by Allison Rimes. This one actually just came out. This is book 2 in a series, but I read this one first because the first one involves like cheating in that one, and I know some people are okay with it, but I just wasn't that interested in that. And Flurry is an MMF, and I am really interested in those. So Flurry is about this player, and then he's actually really good friends with this woman, and her younger sister is the one that this is with, and then he's bisexual, but he's had to keep that a secret because he's in the NHL, and it could just be really bad, not only for him but anyone he's interested in. But he's had this long terms like friends with benefits, and they've always been open and were allowed to see other people, because the one hero still likes to really be with women sometimes. And the other hero is bisexual too, so he'd be willing to be with women, but he also would be fine just being with this man, except he has some intimacy issues based on things that happened to him when he was young. But then when the one hero ends up, who's not the hockey player, ends up in the same like class as the heroine, they become really good friends, and she thinks that he's only gay, doesn't realize that he's bisexual. So anyway, I'm being really vague about explaining this, but eventually all 3 of them decide they want to try to be together, and we go from there. So it was a really fun time. I liked it a good amount. I was only slightly disappointed in how I feel like she rushed it at the end. Like, we took our time getting through some of our issues, but then we like rushed to the finish line, and I was just kind of like, well, we didn't have to do that. We could have, you know, it wasn't that long of a book. We could have added a little bit more. Then there's Rough Score by Kenna King. This one's actually book 4 in a series. You can see with arcs I was kind of going all over the place, but this one I had a advanced listener copy of, and this one is the Hawkeyes hockey, and this one involves a marriage of convenience. Our hero is a Canadian, and his visa didn't get reapplied for in time, and so for him to reapply for like his work visa would take longer than if he got a fiance's visa, so or a marriage one. And so he will need to be married for like 2 years for it to work, and so he ends up asking this woman who's trying to become a party planner for the Hawkeyes that he will help her with the expenses of her brother's care, because her brother needs to be in a long-term care facility. He will help her with that if she will marry him and stay married to him for a few years. So they end up doing that. It's marriage of convenience. But I really like how it played out, because they didn't play the whole game of like, oh, well, we can't have sex because this is fake. They were like, no, we can have sex. That's fine. Because who else are we going to have sex with? We can't be with anyone else because like people would find out, and that would be bad for us. So I'm here for it. It worked for me. I was happy about it. And yeah, that one was really fun, and I definitely will read more Kenna King. I believe this wasn't her first book, but like this series is her first series, so I will absolutely be reading more of her soon. All right, then we have Consider Me by Becca Mack. This one was so fun. I really like the audiobooks for these. I believe the audiobook for book 3 is finally out now, so I might get to that. But this one is first book 1 in the Playing for Keeps. And for this one we have Carter Beckett, and then I can't remember the heroine's name. It's Olivia. And he's seen as this playboy, but he meets Olivia, who just does not have the time of day for him. And that immediately gets him all like, oh, I want you. Let's make it happen. And so he goes about pursuing her. And like we said, this is a Playing for Keeps novel. So he's never been this serious about a woman before, but he just knows that Olivia is his. And so he goes full on for her. He is a complete goob. Okay, there's no other way to say it. He is obsessed with her. He's hot for her. He's gonna make it happen. And like, I just love that. He's also a golden retriever hero. He really is. And I just adored him. He's a bit much, okay? He's over the top, but he's not over the top in a dark romance hero way. He's over the top in like, I want to lavish you with love and presents and make you my girl and lavish you with pleasure. And we're like, we're here for it. Do it. Let's go. So yeah, good stuff. Then there is Bad Intentions by Mila Kane. This is a part of her, Hellions of Hate Harbor. This is another dark romance hockey series, so it's along the lines of the hockey gods, and their bully romances in this one. It also does connect a little bit with her mafia series too. They're all in the same world, so sometimes there's some crossover one. So this first one is our heroes from the rough part of town, and the heroine ends up finding out some secrets about him. I can't remember, but anyway, he is wanting to go to school and play on the team that her father is the coach of, and he's a bit of a bully to her. But when he doesn't have a safe place to stay, her dad offers him their spare bedroom, which means he's right next to her, and she hasn't told her dad like what this guy has like done with her, and so now she's a fly caught in his trap, and he can kind of do whatever he wants to do to her. So there's that one. It's a bit wild, y'all. It's a bit wild. But it also was, you felt really bad for him because the position that he ends up in, no young man should be there. And it is a dark bully romance, so of course he's going to lash out in ways he shouldn't necessarily, but you're going to love him anyway because that's how this works, right? Okay, then we have Mile High by Liz Tom 40. This is book 1 in the Windy City series. This one is Xander's and Stevie. This is a flight attendant for a hockey team. And then we have Xander's, who is one of the co-captains on the team, and he has a playboy reputation. Now, he has played up this reputation based on what his agent told him to do, because it gets him more attention, it gets him better like deals, I guess, whatever. But he is growing a little bit tired of that reputation, and he's ready to be like grown up and like, you know, live the life he wants to live. And you know, he likes Stevie. It's also a bit forbidden because there's an anti-fraternization policy, so she can't be dating one of the hockey players that she's flying with every day. But so it's a bit of a hidden relationship as well. But their chemistry is wild, and Xander treats Stevie so well, treats her so well, that there's a reason why this series does so well. Now, of course, The Right Move is my favorite. It's a lot of people's favorites, but don't sleep on Xander and Stevie either, because this is a great one. It's so good. This couple just warms my heart, and it's another who's the absolute simp for the heroine. Okay, just absolute simp. And Stevie is the twin sister to Ryan Shea, so why not start it out, right? Get it going. All right, then we have Pucked by Helena Hunting. Like I said, we're jumping back between old and new here. So we have the Pucked series. This is about Alex Waters and Violet. And Violet is actually the stepsister of one of his players. He's the captain for this team, and Alex Waters has a huge dick. It's literally like a joke, and the thing is that he carries a big stick in his pants. And when she had went to a game with her family, so she's in the same hotel as Alex, they end up having a one-night stand, and it's hot. These two are hilarious together because it's really hot sex that they have, but it's also just really funny because of the way that they talk during sex is just, it's hot but funny. There's no other way to say it. It's hot and funny at the same time. But yeah, these two then begin this relationship, and Alex, a little bit like Xander's does, he has a reputation that he tries to keep up so that he can make the money, support his family, be who he wants to be. But yet he really wants Violet. So he has to decide at some point, like, is he okay with keeping his reputation that way and possibly losing her, or is he ready to step up and like prove to her that he's her man and that he's gonna do what he needs to do? That's the question before us, is what's he gonna do about it? So yeah. There is also Puck Me Secretly by Odette Stone. When I read this one and then the next one, which was, I can't remember what that one was called, these were both on Kindle, or not Kindle. Yes, they're on Kindle, but they were on Audible Plus is how I listened to them. And these are a like Canadian hockey team, I think. I'm honestly not remembering this one super specifically. So I apologize for that I don't remember it too distinctly, but I know that I liked these ones. I'm sorry. Usually I'm better at that. There is also Gravity by Steph Bohrer. This is another romance. This one is just absolutely beautiful. The found family in his books are so good. So this one is Bryce and Hunter, and they end up on the same team, I guess. But one of the heroes is, like, I believe, out that he's gay. And when they meet at this all-star game, I believe they end up having this really, like, hot night together. But then, yeah, so they have a really good night together. It's really hot. But then when they, like, kiss each other, now we're in a really tight position because he's like, my secret could get out, and what are we going to do about it? So this one does have a little bit of angst, but it also doesn't drag it out too long. Steph Bohrer does this really good of, like, you will think that the world is over. Like, honestly, you'll think that everything is in such a horrible place and we can't possibly get out of it. And then everything just ends up being so beautiful that there was no reason to worry about it at all. You know, it's really great. And then the last one I have is also an Now this one is a lot angstier and harder too, and that's Game Changer by Rachel Reed. So this one is a hero who, again, it's a secret. He meets this guy who makes his smoothies, and they kind of flirt every day when he comes in to get his smoothie, and he invites him to a game sometimes, and they eventually start a relationship. And our hero who's a hockey player is like, I have to keep this a secret for a certain amount of time. So it is one of those where someone has to be in the closet, because it honestly is, like, kind of dangerous if he were to say, like, his city could turn on him, he could lose his sponsorships. And so it's in that place where, like, being gay would not be celebrated if he was out about it. But the devotion that the other hero has for him is so beautiful that he really needs to figure out a way to make it work for them, you know, which is just really great. So anyway, that is kind of a collective hockey romance rec video for you. I know this was a little bit all over the place, but I hope you can find some that you want. I just love hockey. I understand why it's so beloved by so many, because there's just something great about hockey romance. I love a lot of sports romance too, but there we go. Those are my recommendations for that. I'll have links for these books all down below, so you can check those out if you're interested, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye.